Hello everyone. Vanakkam, Vandanam, Namaste, Namaskar, welcome, Kia ora. I hope that every one of you are having a great evening. It's really nice to meet you again on yet another episode of Trendy Thalaiva Selva with me, Selva, on India Live where colors come live. I hope that everyone is having a great week and is enjoying this sort of like I would say pleasantry weather in Christchurch. Not sure about like what's it's like in other parts of New Zealand though. But Christchurch for this couple of days has been like not so hot, not so cold, and it's been like warm and nice. And the weather is enjoyable. I hope like all of you are like having a great time here. अभी त्योहार का माहौल जो दिवाली खता वो खत्म हो रहा है because I'm saying हो रहा है because even this week there was a celebration that happened in Christchurch, and I also hear from folks that there are a couple of more events that are scheduled around Diwali, maybe in the coming weeks. Smaller sort of like events that are happening here and there. So yeah, I think everyone is like still having like fun in terms of like celebrating the festival in their own way. I also go around the streets of like Rolleston and also in Christchurch to see the amazing lightings that people have done. Sometimes I get confused whether it's like Christmas lighting or Diwali lighting, whatever it may be. People are in a celebration mood, people are having fun, and it's that sort of like period where everyone is like winding down from their hectic work. Some of them have already gone on holidays. Offices are like slowing down. Things are getting a little slower as we head towards a holiday season. And I'm pretty sure that all of you might have like probably planned your holidays. Some of you might be going to India. I'm jealous about like those people who are going to India. It's always fun to be in India, right? And some of you might be going. To all of you, safe travels. Have fun in India. Eat as much as you can, and enjoy the food when you are there. And say my namaste and hello to your family members, and bring a lot of like good stuff back. And please do share it with us when you come back. So yeah, we're hoping all of you are like counting your days towards your Christmas breaks. To those who are gonna be here, you also might have got some local plans or like maybe like no plans like me. As of now, I don't have any plans. I probably have to make one that's going to be like a couple of days of छुट्टियां मेरा तो पूरा छुट्टियां ही छुट्टियां हैं आपको पता ही है कि अभी मैं नौकरी ढूंढ रहा हूँ like this week there was like some interesting conversation that had evolved. I'll try to share a few of those on like what's happening in my life as the show progresses, but still like keeping my hopes alive and continuing to apply for jobs that I find that relevant to me. Did you all are like noticing that my hair is growing a bit? Part of the trendy Thalaiva thing is to also be, kind of like trendy. I won't say like, I'm a big fan of all of these things, but I'm trying to be like, exploring new things. So I wanted to explore that what it would look like, how would I look if I have like a bit more longer hair? So I'm just trying to grow. Uh, this is an awkward phase to be in. Like when you have like short hair, it's easy. When you have like long hair, it's easy. When you're in between, it's like tough. So I'm just trying to add this sort of like layer to my hair to protect the hair actually falling into my eyes. And these are the like sort of like the trendy stuff that I'm actually learning from people. There's also another option that people provided that you can actually add a cap on top to avoid the hair falling into your eyes. So folks, I think that's a bit about like what's happening in life. And today's show particularly, I'm trying to go and like delve into a lot of new things that are happening around in the tech industry. I'm pretty sure that most of you might be like following the news and stuff, but man, what I think man is a wrong word because we need to be inclusive in the show, man and a woman. What a week it has been. I'll try to stick to my folks, right? So that's the gender neutral term that I use. Um, what a week it has been in the tech industry. There's been like so many transformational things that are happening across the world, particularly starting last Friday. We'll talk a little bit about like what it is and how it actually impacts, or like, it's related to us. Like, why do we even need to know? Right. So last week we spoke about the Lenny's podcast about Brian Chesky and Airbnb, and I got a few feedback about that, and they said that this was the first time that they heard about Airbnb and its history, and it's really heartening to know when somebody actually taps your shoulder and say that, hey, look, I heard about this and this was interesting. Thanks for that. I love that, and I want more of such feedback from all of you folks. So please feel free to leave a comment, or like send us an email at indialivepresenters@gmail.com in case if you want to share anything with us, and if you would like to know more about something in specific. As always, let's dive into the show with a Tirukural. And again, today's Tirukural is something relevant to the show and what we are talking about, or like going to talk about. It has to do something with governance. So governance is basically a structure that's established for any organization to be able to provide the services, or like deliver the services for their specific customers or audience. But when you talk in terms of like nation, or like a wider concept, it's the ability to have that sort of like leadership that delivers that sort of like promised things to its people. So the kural goes like this: சூழ்ச்சி முடிவு துணிவைதல் அத்துணிவு தாழ்ச்சியுள் தாங்குதல் தீது. I'll repeat: சூழ்ச்சி முடிவு துணிவைதல் அத்துணிவு தாழ்ச்சியுள் தாங்குதல் தீது. So here Tiruvalvar basically speaks about the leadership qualities and responsibilities of a leader, on like how you need to be governing things. There are times when as leaders you should be decisive in the decision that you make, so the ultimate outcome is to benefit your people. And there are times where you may have to engage in a debate to be able to arrive at a better outcome. And there are times where you need to be responsible to make sure that whatever outcome that happens is benefiting people overall. Again, a fantastic Qural that talks about like governance structure, how things should function, how you need to be able to manage or like govern a government, and show that sort of like leadership skills. And apparently the bottom line is like any leader is a good leader if they care about their people, right? So if you don't care about your people, then you're not a good leader. And that also brings me to the topic of the difference between a manager and a leader. So not every manager is a leader. Like, managers are there to manage people, of course, but they can't be leaders if they don't put their people first. To just give a simple sort of like an example, or just to try to explain the difference between a manager and a leader in like a one simple sentence. A manager is someone who might not defend their people when it comes to fighting against the system. The system could be a government, an organization, or anything, right? So but a people leader or a leader would be someone who would be willing to fight against the system for their own people. So that's one fundamental key difference. And good quality for a leader is to care for their people. Why governance, why people? Again, as I said, there's a lot happening in the tech world. For most of you who are in the tech industry and are following the news, this might not be a new news. On Friday evening, which is Saturday our time, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, was fired by their board. Now, what is OpenAI? You all might know the term ChatGPT. ChatGPT is basically an artificial intelligence tool that is equipped with a lot of data sources, and it's a large language model where it answers your questions based on the limited information it's got. And ChatGPT like was introduced to the world a couple of months, if not like not a couple of months, I think pretty much 8 months ago, where it took the world by a storm. And that was one of the fastest apps to ever reach a billion users, which means that the importance of that app, or like the importance of the availability of such a technology, is so high. And that's why people signed up. I was one of them. You're all in the early adopters stage, but this one, like super early adopters, like a lot of people jumping onto ChatGPT, asking so many questions. You can ask any question. No question is a stupid question, right? So you can ask ChatGPT to write a story with, let's say Amitabh Bachchan is a villain. It will give you a story. You can ask ChatGPT to actually give you a cooking recipe today. It'll give you a recipe, and it can do wonderful things. Like, if you're like really smart enough to provide a good prompt as a question, ChatGPT has like a lot of information as answers. The only thing that I thought ChatGPT could potentially do, or like maybe they will be bringing that in the future, is to be the having the ability to search the internet live. Um, and that could actually bring in a lot more interesting things. And when we say artificial intelligence is able to help, a lot of people started to adopt the technology, including myself. We use that on a day-to-day basis for our job. The first thing you do whenever you have a question is to go to ChatGPT and ask the question. And after ChatGPT, I would say there was a revolution in the AI industry where a lot of people started to jump on board. And ChatGPT is majority funded by Microsoft. I think Microsoft has $80 billion on a stake, if I'm not wrong. I think I need to go and check my numbers. But the story is that Sam Altman was the co-founder or founder of ChatGPT, and is also the CEO. And interestingly, ChatGPT was established as a non-profit organization, or like the motive or the purpose of the organization was to be non-profit, um, because the ultimate aim is to do better things to the world and bring people this sort of like information and knowledge that are accessible, right? But eventually ChatGPT became a subscribed services for people who want to use it beyond a specific limit, or like having the ability to do certain things. But for basic things, like ChatGPT is like still free. Like you can still go and ask that, hey, I want to travel to Queenstown. What are the places that I can see in Queenstown? ChatGPT will be able to give you that sort of like information of what are the things that you can do in Queenstown, right? Um, so ChatGPT CEO Sam Altman was like going around raising funds. They actually had an open dev day a couple of weeks ago. There were like a lot of products and updates and information that they were supposed to roll out. But then suddenly this move came as a surprise, where no one anticipated that Sam would be asked to step down. And then the board announced Mira Murati, who was the CTO of OpenAI, to become the interim CEO of OpenAI. And all of this happened all of a sudden. And then the following day, there were like so many Twitter feed news that are coming with like so many theories, conspiracies, what actually happened, etc. And it was like an interesting read. Um, Apparently, Ilya, actually, who is the lead researcher or like the senior researcher, kind of like the brains behind all of these things, trying to understand that how this entire ecosystem would grow and stuff, had actually moved with the board to make this decision, and that came as a like surprise. So, a lot of people had questions about what's going to be the future of ChatGPT, what's going to be the future of OpenAI, why this move was made in the first place. Is there something that the world needs to know? Is there something that's happening with respect to the usage of ChatGPT? Kind of like when we speak about AI and its utilization, there is a lot of questions around the ethical usage of it. There's a lot of questions about the inclusivity of it, and there's a lot of question about like how this technology is going to evolve to help people and not become a hindrance for us in the future, etc., right? So a lot of unanswered questions were there, but then there was like interesting development. about whatever happened last Friday. Saturday there was a sort of like pushback from Greg, who is also a part of the OpenAI's senior leadership team, and he submitted his resignation, saying that Adam's exit, sorry, not Adam. Sam's exit is something that he's not okay with. Followed by that, a lot of people started to submit their resignations from OpenAI, and then now there was a pushback from the employees of OpenAI saying that if the board does not resign by Saturday night or like at 5 p.m., they all would resign along with Sam. Now Sam is like a powerful person in the industry, right? So he's the one who has been like going around raising funds. There are like so much of funds that are supposed to come into OpenAI, and people trust him. Like, and he's also a genuinely great, empathetic leader, is what I hear. And I also hear great things about the other people who are a part of the board and also the part of this leadership team. And there's like all of this chaos happening all around. You know, people coming with news, updates, etc. And it was like a good sort of like a weekend exercise for me to go and like collect this information and share, and put together like stitch a story together of like what's happening, and why it's happening. But then apparently it kind of like ended up in vain. But then at one point it did seem like the board would step down, and then Sam would actually be called back as the CEO. And Mira Murati, who was the interim CEO, also was in support of this, which means that Sam and he's built like a really, really good team, right? And then now Microsoft, who is apparently the highest investor in OpenAI, did not have a stake or a seat on the board, which is very interesting for me because like see how governance work like so differently. Whereas we have Adam from Cora, who is a part of the board, and I have had an opportunity to work with Adam directly. I mean, though we might have had like very limited interactions, I work for Cora, and every week Adam comes and talk, and these are like genuinely nice people. They are critical thinkers. They think beyond like what you and I could generally think, and they would have made this decision because of certain reasons, and the reasons were unknown, and I think it's still unknown, at least to many of the outside world. So there's been like a constant question going on, and then Microsoft CEO Satya was invited to actually negotiate the conversation between Sam and board. And at some point it did seem that Sam would return and the board might resign. But then some developments on Monday, which was like so funny, or like for to me it's funny because like you clearly don't know what's happening, but then you're just getting to read the news and understand what's happening. Yeah, another person, Emmett, was actually hired as the CEO, and he had accepted the offer. And Sam is going to be ousted, and the board would potentially remain. Which means that Sam is now going to go out, and then because Sam is going out, so many people have decided to resign, and there's been like series of conversation that's happening on Twitter on like who would leave with Sam, etc. And apparently, it turns out that out of the 770 employees OpenAI have, almost 700 of them would resign along with Sam. Interesting, right? So the entire company is going to go. uh, and another interesting development is that Microsoft offers Sam a job in Microsoft. Satya is ready to hire him, along with Greg and others, whoever is like going to quit OpenAI. And Microsoft is also launching Copilot. It's artificial intelligence that can now integrate with your Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and this is going to create a lot of magic, and reduce a lot of work that you and I are going to do in the future. And AI is like amazing and transforming, right? So now the new CEO who took up the offer is actually telling the board that he would not be able to take up the role till the time the board clearly gives an explanation of why Sam was fired. Now, this actually tells me the kind of leader Sam was or is, because when your leader's leaving, you and I would think, or like some of us would think twice before we also submit our papers or like resign, right? But when Sam was like fired, the team was like ready to go with him. And that's the kind of like leader Sam has been, like offering that sort of like support, empathizing with the people, putting the people first. And a lot of people are like sharing their emails that they got from Sam when he is an investor, and they're pitching for an investment with him. The kind of like responses he wrote, the kind of like support, as well as like um, the information that he offered, exceptionally great. And leaders like this only come once in a while. And when a leader like Sam Altman is fired, you apparently want to know the reason for it, right? And this is what surprises me so far, that the board was in a position to fire or make a call to fire Sam Altman within less than a day. But then they did not have the capacity to give the reason for that to a wider audience yet. Maybe the reasons are known to a limited set of people, and that is what is really threatening. Because if the rationality of having an artificial intelligence system being able to influence so many people's life has been compromised, or like if there was a thought of compromise, then there's a bigger question that needs to be asked, and you still don't know whether it was or wasn't. So there are no conspiracy or like nothing that we need to be worrying about there. But the kind of like trust the people had on Sam, as well as the kind of like the action that the board has taken, and the board has said something and has done something else, is really kind of like confusing, and also amusing, in such a scale, um, etc. And then an announcement from Adam came yesterday about monetization of Poe. Poe is Quora's very own, sort of like an artificial intelligence language learning model tool where you can again ask questions. And the platform is like interesting because it integrates a lot of different smaller bots that are AI based on like built on AI, and they are announcing monetization for anyone who can or like are able to create bots that will be utilized by people. All of these are like super interesting development in the tech space. I am a non-tech person in the tech space, but I do follow all of these things because somewhere or the other, like they use these tools, and I'm a huge fan of like both Poe and ChatGPT, and also like other AI models that are here to equip and enhance our work. It reduces a lot of time. So I don't know where this is going to head and how this is going to end, but it is interesting, as it says. So that's the reason between having that sort of like Tirukural today, which also has this sort of like things with governance and stuff. A board is generally the governance structure that a company has. So typically a CEO will have a seat in it and also will have a vote in it. And in this case, Ilaya, who initially was with the board, has now turned around and said that he's with Sam, and he has trust in Sam, etc. So we need to wait and see, folks, about like where this entire saga is headed. But I'm pretty sure there is a Netflix documentary that's supposed to be coming out somewhere down the line, which will have all the interviews of these great people talking to us about like what went behind those boardrooms. A few interesting tidbits here is that the entire exercise was carried out on Google Meet. Okay, Microsoft has like great investment in OpenAI, and OpenAI is not using MS Teams. They're using Google Meets, including a meeting that happened with Satya Nadella, which again like took place in Google Meet. So kind of like speaks volume about why people don't like MS Teams. I don't like it. I've been vocal about it. There are like a lot of opportunity and scope to improve that as a product, and it's not a super user friendly one. I hope someone in the tech industry gets to watch this specific episode of Trendy Thalaiva Selva and takes this cue that many people don't like MS Teams. Some people do, like, it works well for them, it would. But the entire meetings happen in Gmeet, that's funny. And Yeah, we'll wait and see. We'll probably touch upon a little bit on our next episode about what happened, as the outcome. But another interesting news that evolved this morning is in the crypto industry. Many of you, or like some of you, or like any of you who follow crypto would be aware of Binance. It's one platform that enables trading, or like sort of like simplified trading for commoners, and took crypto as a product or as a service to many more people across the globe. Impressive work. So Binance was founded by the CEO called CZ. He's generally known as CZ, and he was stepping down as CEO this morning with a payment of approximately 4 billion US dollars. And I think this has something to do with the irregulatory measures that Binance had actually taken to enroll their registrants slash investors in some countries, and particularly the SEC in the US was actually running a suit against CZ, and I think some of the actual behind the screen happenings could have led to this decision. See, I don't know whether CZ had conspired something or not. I don't know whether CZ had done something fraudulent or not. Um, but one thing I think that he sort of like did was to revolutionize this sort of like crypto industry, and made it accessible to many more people. So see, the kind of news like this is actually again bringing that sort of like suspicion and trust factor being broken, um, um, on the crypto industry as a whole for a commoner, like a person like me, right? So whether investing in that makes sense anymore, whether it is ethical ways to invest your money, etc., or some of the questions that we may have to ask and answer in the future. So we may want to wait a little more to learn about what happened in the background behind this entire crypto saga that's happened this morning. In any ways, we will try to know more about it and share about this. But I'm hoping that the crypto market wouldn't crash in the next few days, because we already had the FTX saga that actually created a huge doubt about the crypto industry, and that led to like liquidations of billions and billions of dollars. And that guy's Sam is still behind the bars. I'm not sure what's going to be the outcome with CZ, because Binance is a such a big player in the market. And whether we should be careful and expect a crash is something that I don't know. Again, no financial advices here, folks. Do your own research before you invest in your money in stocks, crypto, mutual funds, or anything. But yeah, interesting developments across the world in terms of governance and leadership this week, folks. And it actually states the importance of having an independent body or structure that monitors the activities wherever there's like huge money being involved, and wherever like people's um, lives are connected to. I would want to look and wait what happens with the Open AI saga as well as the Binance saga in the next few days. And as I do that, I'll continue to bring more stories and news to you. That's all I have for today's Trendy Thalaiva show. It was wonderful to meet you all again. Every week on Wednesday, we have been doing this continuously. This is the 12th week, I think. And it's been like an immense pleasure for me to be able to collect all of this information and then put them together into a format where I'm able to come to you every week and then share it with you. As always, I would love more thoughts, feedbacks, ideas, opinions from you also. So please feel free to make a comment here, like, share, and subscribe with your friends. India Live, where Colors Come Live, are like making every effort to bring as much as like local information and news and stuff to all of you. As we continue to grow, we want you also to be with us in this part of journey. um, So with that, I'll recommend you all to take care of yourself, enjoy your holiday period if it has already started, or like enjoy this time of preparation for your upcoming holidays in case if you are planning to do it later. I'll sign off right now. This is Trendy Thalaiva saying a bye until we meet next week, Wednesday 6 p.m. on India Live, where colors come live. Take care, folks.